Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today, it is Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm so glad you decided to drop in and hang out with me on today. We're going to have another interesting show. My brother Cortez Mack is in the green room. He is here waiting to get on the air with us, and I am excited to have him. You know, he's been on the show before. He's been a friend to the show, so he always brings a very informative bit of information to us on the show. So, before we get to him, let's do this. Let me do a shout out. This is something I do each and every chance I get. When I am on the air, I like to let people know about my mentor. My mentor, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And out of that 30 plus years, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to both him and his family. So I always like to talk about Dr. Hunt because I'm trying to encourage people to understand the value of having a mentor. Now, a mentor can help you with navigating through life when you have situations and circumstances that can be a little rocky or a little troublesome or a little conflict. A mentor can help you. A mentor can be somebody that can help you get on the right path and help you navigate through craziness in life. So get you a mentor. And then once you get a mentor, then you get a show so you can shout them out. Okay? I like telling people they can get a show because we have a place where you can get a show too. So that being said, I want to invite you guys to go over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, I want you to notice the very first thing that there is a watch live button. Every time you see that watch live button and we have a live show, you can click that button and you can see everything that's going on in real time. Okay? So I want you guys to get in the habit of going over to the website and watching the show in real time. Now, also while you're over there, you will notice that I have a list of advertisers. Here is a few of the advertisers that we're going to talk about on the show today. RRJ Web. If you have someone that has a broken website and they don't know who to call to get it fixed or to have somebody look at it to fix it for them, RRJ Web can help them fix their broken website. Also, if you have an idea or a concept for a website, you can also reach out to RRJ Web and they will help you fix your website. Okay? Get it out of your head and put it on the World Wide Web where it belongs. Okay? SMJ Group. If you are in need of someone to help you with your taxes, your bookkeeping, and business or personal, anything of that nature, SMJ Group can help you. They will help you put together your books where the IRS won't have no problem with you at all. Because I tell you, they be waiting on people to make a mistake. You know, somebody told me that they went to one of those tax preparer agencies and they got audited. I said, well, did you go back to the tax preparer that helped put it together for you? He said, man, they was closed up. The season was over with. I was like, you in trouble. So get somebody like SMJ Group that's open all year round, and it can help you with your taxes. And any artist, they'll be there with you. Port Again Sam. Now, this is one of my favorite advertisers. Port Again Sam has been with me for 15 plus years. Now, he brings in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world. And he just got a fresh shipment in. He's got a brand new location. He's got more room for wine tastings now. So you need to reach out to him and schedule a wine tasting so you can find out what your new favorite wine is going to be. And, me, myself, I'm a cognac person. I enjoy sitting back, enjoying a good cognac. I had a friend of mine today. He was telling me he had tried a cognac while he was on vacation. And he was saying, well, it was okay, but it ain't like what you can get. And I said, I know. That stuff is fire. That cognac ain't no joke. I want to talk about Prince Hunter Financial Group. Now, Prince Hunter Financial Group will help you understand how the stock market and the Forex market operate. If you're interested in learning how to create wealth for you and your family, the stock market is the way to go. Now, with the stock market, you can understand generational wealth. And Prince Hunter Financial Group is offering 4 free classes to anybody that reaches out to them and they're interested in learning. He will help you with those 4 free classes, help you get started. So definitely reach out to Prince Hunter Financial Group. And I got to talk about another one of my favorite advertisers on the website, Sir Synergy. Sir Synergy is helping people with energy solutions, green energy solutions, solar energy solutions. And if you're paying attention, all automobiles 10 years from now are going to be electric. So you need to understand where your charging stations are going to be. If not in your home, you need to know where they are. Or even if you're interested in creating a charging station income, then you can reach out to them and they'll help you figure out if you got enough land to do this. They can help you put that charging station together, and you could be sitting at home making passive income while people charging up their Tesla. All right. So now, that's enough information about my advertisers for today. So as I mentioned before, Cortez has been on the show before many times. Every time he's got a project going on or something going on, he always sends me a text or a clip of some kind to let me know what's going on. And I tell you, with friends like that, I stay in the know, at least about his projects anyway. So welcome back to the show, Cortez.
What's going on, Doctor?
How you feeling today, man? You look like you ready to jump and run and get on a train somewhere, man. You all right?
I am ready to get on the train, but it's crowded. That's a good thing.
Okay, well that's good. So welcome back to the show. Like I said, I know you've got a project. You always got a project. It's interesting when I put the promo plugger up, I started hearing from people, that I didn't know was paying attention to what's going on. I think it was that little gold man that you had in your hand. They wanted to know, who was that? Oh, we need to know him.
Is that
You
right?
know, yeah. And I was like, oh man, he been on the show so many times. He old news, but you know. So I want you to tell because you sent me. Now I gotta tell y'all off air stuff. I called my brother up and I said, hey man, why don't you send me a promo picture? Why he send me a dozen pictures of himself? I'm like, I don't need a dozen pictures, man. You could have just picked a picture and sent it to me. And then one of the pictures he sent me got every award on it, and the title of it and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make him explain that, to everybody. So how many awards you got? Where'd you get them from? And all that good stuff. Can you remember all of that? I know there's so many of them.
No. Um, but first, man, I appreciate you bringing me back on, man, to chat, a little bit about, I guess, what I think I got going on. But honored to be here. The picture with the awards to the side, I was just sitting one day because I pretty much had a reflection, man. I look back when I started this. I mean, I didn't get all those certificates, awards prior to just 4 years ago. Literally, everything that everything that's seen, that's in my hand, that I display regarding a certificate or trophy, that been just in the last 4 years, literally. And that picture just shows with some of the description of the stuff uh, I've written, produced, directed in the last 4 years, and some of those are scripts, one for scripts. So movie trailers, some were just movie mock movie posters that I won film festivals for. So I've learned from my film mentors. They both from here, and they moved to LA. And they would just say, create a body of work. Let the people see your work. And thank God, I'm grateful that it's becoming very rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna say it if people don't know. The film industry is one of the racist, most prejudiced industries out there. It has been dominated and ruled by Jewish folks. Yeah, I said Jewish folks,
Hmm.
for a very long time. They have controlled, even during black exploitation films, when films were about blacks and black communities, the Jews ran it.
Hmm.
They've always ran it. And they've always dictated on, what to do, what will be done, all of those things. So they have had a dominating control over the film industry going back a very long time. Probably in the last, since I want to say mid 80s, when I'm gonna name drop, when Spike Lee started getting, a little recognition for his body of work, and even then they still had control over his stuff until he began to be able to produce his own films under his own name, under his own money, and even going back, oh my God, early '80s, when distribution of films was even questionable. They had a film. Oh God, I can't think of his name right now, but he created a film called White Girl. You remember that film?
Mm-mm.
Okay, he was a talk show host on public television, and he produced his first film, and it was called White Girl, and it was about cocaine. And when he created the film, it wasn't the best film in the world, but he created a method of distribution that was unheard of, kind of similar to what Sweetback did, with Peoples,
Milton.
Melvin Van Peebles. Yeah, he came out with a Sweetback, and he created the film. He got it done with the help of Bill Cosby and a few other people. And then with distribution, he just rented theaters in certain cities in order to play it.
Yep.
And that was an example of how to be able to get a film viewed in our communities, because everybody didn't have big screen TVs in their house back then. Everybody didn't have DVD quality, anything. You had to have a 35 millimeter projector in order to play these films in a genuine movie house. So I know y'all know I'm old because I can talk about this kind of stuff. But I'm getting somewhere with this by saying that it's been a pattern of evolution that have taken place since the 70s, all the
Mhm.
way up to currently till now. And people like yourself being exposed and getting awards is a wonderful thing because we all have stories to tell and really don't have places to be able to hear our stories and allow our stories to be able to come forth. So I've always applauded people like yourself and the work that you do and how you go about doing it and the awards you have won shows that your stories are worth hearing about. So congratulations on all of those awards. I know it took a long time to get to that point, but I was kind of reluctant about saying it. I was like, I don't want to say too much about that, but I guess I'm gonna have to. You know,
Appreciate it.
yeah. Now you're gonna make me try and look up. So tell us about some more of those awards. I'm gonna look the name of that guy and that movie, White Girl.
Well, my first film, What About the Children, that came out in uh, 2014. That was submitted to various festivals, but it unfortunately got rejected with almost 60 film festivals because it was a film about youth, our black youth, and the film doesn't have no profanity, violence, or sexual content. And it got rejected even by youth and Christian-based film festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And it just said that we become so um, 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 unfortunately we become so imagized that we only think one type of image should be selling, and that's the negative side of us. To this day we really can't find no family oriented films. We can't find no positive, uplifting films about men without them having to have a background. You know, for some for some strange reason, we just don't believe our men and our culture and our community work. We always gotta start from the bottom and fight our way through up to something. But over the years, it did get discouraging at times. But I'm grateful to have held on. It paid off, and it's paying off. So and everything that's out there, I'm grateful to have written it, thought of it, created, produced it. But I know I couldn't have done any of this by myself. So what I end up doing is when I don't cast for films. I just reach out to people and see if they want to be a part, and I share all the awards with them. When I get a certificate, whether it be win, semifinalist, finalist, honorable mention, I make sure my cast and crew get award. I try to encourage them because I've been encouraged that it's good to look on your shelf and see something an award that you've accomplished. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm one of the filmmakers who I don't think I'm controversial, but I deal with the reality. Everybody wants to get that stipend, but I try to tell people when you get that stipend, most people are done with you. They're done with the film. They're moving on to the next. And I try to encourage people, to stay with the film a little bit more because it can be rewarding as far as receiving trophies, awards, and whether it's looked at, everybody else who's in the film industry, at least in Chicago, independent, everybody want that grand opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know the way I'm going. I had to create my own little path, man. So and I'm staying with it, and it's working out. I mean,
Good.
just last year, unfortunately, one of my directors who worked on my short film, Split an Image, and that's a award-winning short film. And that film has been qualified to be submitted to the Canadian Screen Awards this year. So that's equivalent to the Oscars. But it was suggested in that community that I don't know what I'm doing.
Is that what they said? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the proof is always in the pudding. You just keep on doing what you're doing, and who's supposed to see it will see it.
exactly.
Now, just going back to what I was just talking about, the 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 film I was talking about was in 1990. It was called The White Girl, and it was by Tony Brown, who used to have Tony Brown's Journal, who Tony
Okay.
Brown used to be a controversial talk
Yeah.
show on public television back in the day. And he created that film, had something to do with that film, and then they distributed. They just bought theaters. They
Hmm.
rented theater, not bought theaters, but rented theaters all across the country to show the film.
Hmm.
And when they did that, it allowed people to come out and support what Tony Brown was doing, and it opened up opportunities for distribution of films throughout the black community across the country. So um, you know, black folks have always had to create new ways because the industry is not in their favor. Like they have black film festivals, that they feature nothing but films by people that are black creators. And those black film festivals, because we don't get celebrated in those awards ceremonies that they celebrate other folks in, Europeans, Mexicans, Asians, everybody gets celebrated except us, you know, and we have to work twice as hard to create opportunities for ourselves more than anybody. So once again, I just wanted to go back and clarify because folks will say, "Well, you say it," and I wanted to be accurate with what I'm saying because I don't want anybody questioning that I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so. But yeah, Tony Brown. Tony Brown was a talk show host from way back in the day. So now, do you find yourself in a niche by working on primarily gospel things or themed messages that might be considered spiritual?
Well, everything I do have a um, inspirational foundation, but
Mm-hmm.
all my films have messaging. Like my short film Bobby, it's not spiritual, but it talks about mental health, mental illness awareness. Uh, Dinner Table talks about family. Split Image talk about a father son relationship. Uh, what tends to be the issue that we see in our culture when it comes to film is that we really never see no recovery. We really don't see no reconciliation. We don't see no redemption. It just we started on this journey. We then got betwixt somewhere, arguing, fighting, and it's a matter of just letting go and moving on and starting over by yourself. We don't very seldom do we see a have we seen a movie where it even comes back to family.
Mm-hmm.
Even our relationship films, they always start off good, and we get to the end, they didn't separated, divorced, going to court. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
We I do my best to try to show the reality of the other side because we're so
Mm-hmm.
busy slinging violence and broken homes and fatherless childrens and all this stuff. Let's show the let's show the other side of that, and we should embrace that. But I did want to touch on some of what you just previously said, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
The all the work that many people whose shoulders I'm standing on, they've created uh, platforms. But what has literally happened, even that mindset of selfishness has really kicked in that we only allow people in that world based off, and I'm only saying this suggestively based off what I see, is that they want to say, I helped this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've tried to get an agent for years, and
Mm-hmm.
I had an agent told me, like several agents told me that they won't help me because I got a 9-page film resume. So it's
Yeah.
already like you already doing your thing. What help you need of me? But
Right.
still, everybody need that connection to help or marketing or whatever it gonna takes. Uh, it's unfortunate with the black film festivals. Most of them have rejected my films. Really,
Really.
yes.
And that's not unusual because I have
No.
friends of mine that were filmmakers in New Orleans, and they sent films into the film festivals and did not get no love at all. And what he had to do with his film, because he had created several films, and he took them, quote unquote, on an industrial route. So, are you familiar with the industrial route?
I might be doing it, but explain what that version means.
Okay, so an industrial route is like he would do a showing in a city, and then he would offer them to colleges and schools as an educational,
Oh yeah.
yeah, vehicle, instead of worrying about,
Mm-hmm.
big time stardom, as you say, because his films like yours had, um, like one of his movies dealt with a brass band, a New Orleans brass band with kids,
Mm-hmm.
and how the band came together, how they learned, and how they gelled as a street band, and the parents involved and things like that. So it was used as an educational tool, and it had a workbook and all of those other things, industrial route. So that was what he, how he did it. And the film was also sold to libraries, to be in their catalogs and things like that. So it's not like a box office movie. It didn't make it to cable, nothing like that. But it did have a value that he was able to make the money back off of what it cost him to make the movie, because it costs to make movies, y'all. I know y'all don't think it does, but it does. And sometimes those film festivals offer an award with the cash attached to it, and that's why people submit their works to it, trying to win those awards. And if you win, that's a good thing. If you don't, you still got to pay for this film, no matter whether you win the award or not. It still got to be paid for. You know, so yeah, definitely. So so I've been friends with a lot of people that are in the industry for a long time, and I've done some industrial films myself. I used to do teaching videos, instructional videos where I would teach people different trades, skills, on how to work different things. I was in front of the camera then, and then behind the camera too, actually. So I've been around this industry a very long time. I always thought that, I knew I didn't have a big time career ahead of me because I knew I wasn't moving to New York and I knew I wasn't moving to LA.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a lot of people go there, and some people get discovered and some people don't, you know. So interesting. The industry is very finicky, very finicky.
Yeah. I'm actually, when you describe the industrial thing, that's actually, if that's the brand for it, I literally been doing that like forever. I've even said I would rather have my films in the community than actually in the movie theaters,
Right.
because they are geared towards. I label it, call it as a community uh, healing film screening healing, um, a family and healing film screening, and have discussions afterwards.
Yeah.
So I do the libraries, and as we speak, um, I've just learned how to jump out there because I literally have uh, city officials from various cities who have been calling me because I've been emailing them the last 2 weeks. Uh, I mean, places that I've never heard of, but based off their population and what's happening and why and how I got in touch with them, made me want to send my films to them so it
Okay.
can help their community. And so far, I've been getting some responses, and and to me that's a good thing because that's where I'd rather have my
Absolutely.
films at. At least these four that talks about community.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you a question. I know that your themes have been geared towards, like you said, family, community, things like that. Now, Tyler Perry and T.D. Jakes, they also operate and have placed a very high value in those types of films. So do you think that you're riding off of their foundation, or how would you describe, your films and how they would compare? I know they have bigger budgets than you, of course, so the technology would be different, or the quality might be a little bit different. But do you think that you're still in the same arena with what they do?
Well, the only difference from what they're doing and what I'm doing is who they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference. And and as far as movie content, most of theirs, and if we really be honest about their presentation, it starts from a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
And is and like I said, it doesn't really give any full recovery, no
Mm-hmm.
reconciliation, no healing. It is almost so it is what it is because we want to, as we say, well, as it been said in our black churches, these things supposed to meet people where they are. But then we
Right.
fail to realize if we keep meeting people where they are, they'll never come to what they need to be.
Right.
Because in reality, the hospital don't go to sick people.
No, that's
People
true.
go to the hospital.
That's true.
But yet we always think we need to be relatable instead of instead of being redeeming or recovery or reconciliation. I don't care about trying to be relatable because that's another side that's brighter to the same storyline, the same concept. I don't want to keep singing and cheering that and hear the lingo that. And excuse me for those who are listening, but you know, I'm tired of stories where it seems like our women have to rescue our men. It's like it's like come on, that's old now. But see, everybody's jumped on the bandwagon.
It's marketable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's
But
marketable.
but
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
even if we want to jump into cultural, we don't see that with other cultures. We're the
No.
only culture who does it backwards, and we
Yeah.
became comfortable with it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Having witnessed, because I'm old, the black exploitation films of the 70s and 80s, we had black heroes.
yeah.
Truck Turner, Isaac Hayes,
Hmm.
Fred the Hammer Williamson. We had black
Hmm.
heroes,
Hmm.
and they always kicked some Europeans' butt,
Hmm.
and I was like, yeah.
Hmm.
It makes you feel good to see us win,
Hmm.
on occasion, you know,
Hmm.
and not, what we've settled for now. Okay, I'll just say it like that, because I think we have, as an audience, we have settled for some things. Like, I was on a show and we were talking about 50 Cent and his choice of movies that he's making.
Hmm.
You glorifying drug dealing, really? You know, um, I don't know. I say it's a settle. I ain't hating no 50 Cent. Don't get me wrong. I don't want no hate mail, y'all. But he's settled. He is in a position where he has control over his creativity and what he puts out. He's got a whole cable network backing him, and he's creating season after season. And he could choose at any given time to put something out there
Mm-hmm.
that would be out of what's socially acceptable for the norm.
Mm-hmm.
He could choose to do that. He don't need their money. He got enough of their money to do what he want to do. But his choice of how he's like, well, I'm gonna keep giving them this because it's making me money. I don't know. I
Well,
just got a problem with that. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
well, I'm a. It became a choice, but I'm gonna say influence, because
Uh-huh.
all influence comes from. If you even go back to the '80s, the biggest influence to our culture was The Godfather. Every gangster, every rapper watched that. You can see it in their background. You can see it emulating that character. And we 30, 40 years later, when the last time you really seen another Godfather type movie from Al Pacino now? Right. We
Mm-mm.
took that and now we done molded and made it what we think, because now it doesn't make sense. Let me reel it back for a second. Even if we look at the Godfather, you don't see them run around here shooting each other in the community. We took on that behavior, and look what we're doing.
Right.
We're literally portraying what we see because this is what we think. Even the current videos, it's like, honestly, how in the world everybody has a gun? But once again, we'd have fed into that, and that's how it's become marketable for us. And unfortunately, we accept that. And I say the only reason why we accept that, because I agree with your word, settle. But I would say we not only did we settle, we we've taken on that because we believe that's what's it. We don't think it's nothing else. Everybody's trying to get to this, and we still talking about film. I literally
Yeah.
have four people who pitch an idea to me and want me turn one idea to to a script or whatever. And it's easy, but all these stories are the same.
Yeah.
All these stories about the street, that life. One book is about a cat did some whole bunch of stuff in between the '60s up into the '80s. I mean, it's like, unfortunately, well, gratefully and thankfully, I don't have that story. And
Mm-hmm.
see, and my point is, we think in order to be real or be reality, that everybody have to have this dark story,
Right.
and it doesn't. It's marketable. It's really not selling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just marketable. And if the industry, here we go, if the industry can keep us distracted.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we got a Cortez Mack that's writing stories that are wholesome, that are give you a warm and fuzzy, feel good type, encouraging, different version of what life could be. I have been blessed to have traveled around the world a few times, and what I see when I travel outside the United States is altogether different than what I get exposed to in the United States. So now, because of the social media, we're able to see other cultural things happening before our eyes, and I understand some of those things. When I see them, I was like, wow, I saw that up
Hmm.
close and personal. Just a case in point, um, I understand the concept of the marketplace, the market, where you can go down and buy food, clothes, medicine, things like that from another person of color. Okay, we ain't got that in the United States. So we are able to see it, and recognize it that grandma been in the market and had her stall for 50 years, and everybody comes to the market, they're gonna look for grandma. Okay, so we got strip malls and stuff in the United States that don't resemble us. And we've been used to dealing with us when we was in the motherland. you know but what we see we can turn into is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so when you're putting movies together showing us something that we can see, that we can be transformed into, that's a positive thing. you know you know so hey man, I'm with you. you know like I said, it did something for me, to be able to watch movies where we were the hero. And I appreciate all of those movies that them guys did. They were former football players.
Mm-hmm.
They had real jobs, positive jobs. They wasn't making a whole lot of money, but when they decided to break into another career, boom. And even when we look at our entertainers, and I'm just going to use this as an example, and I'm using old folk stuff. I know you too young, you ain't gonna understand this, but Sammy Davis Jr. That boy used to sing, dance, and act. And then he hung out with some rich friends of his, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Joey, all of those guys. Those were some rich friends of his. And they did movies together, but they were not putting us down.
Correct.
Okay? You know, and when you look at a star like a Sammy Davis Jr., they don't get no bigger than him.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that he did. He could sing, he did Broadway, he did Vegas, he did every form of entertainment out there. But yet, they don't give him his accolades now. He's been gone. You don't see him in movies and replays and Black History Month. They don't play his stuff.
He has no biopic. I'm serious. He don't. He don't. He don't. Sammy is has to be one of the top greatest entertainers in the world, and I agree
Right,
with him. But yet he has no. He's not. I agree. He's not uh, um, referred in Black History Month. There's no
right,
biopic of him. There's no TV series. There's no documentary. I mean, I think I saw one or two documentaries, but it wasn't of like how big his life was.
right,
And most documentaries, they still talk about or stem from the negative part,
right.
womanizing and all this stuff. But
Yeah,
uh, but unfortunately, we had a movie TV series about Mickey Howard, hmm, Salt and Pepper. Hmm. Kurt Frank. You see what I'm saying?
right,
Sammy is a top lister of entertainment who came out of us.
right.
You're right.
That's
He did
right.
it all.
He did it all, man. That boy, man, whoo, he was
Hmm.
bad. And and one of the last movies that he did, which featured one of the things that Sammy did when he was a kid, tap dancing. Remember tap?
With
Suzanne Douglas, yeah,
Gregory Hines.
Gregory Hines,
Yeah.
and all of the Sandman.
Hmm.
You know,
Classic.
yeah, the Nicholas brother, all of them, man, old school, and the young guy,
Uh,
Glover,
Savion.
Savion, yeah, man, and you would think, um, with the history of that culture of music and dance, that it would be something that people would look to, because that was a classic movie, man. There wasn't no violence in it. I don't think they had a shootout in it not one time, did they? No, I don't think they did. I don't remember no shootout in that movie.
It was about Mr. and Savion.
Yeah, yeah, but it was such a class movie,
Yep.
and we had a hero in that, Suzanne Douglas. She was an alumni from my high school,
Mm-hmm.
Thornton, and I was so disappointed that I didn't know her. But she went on to do great movies,
Mm-hmm.
and sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
She did with Robert Townsend, a lot of family
The Parent Trap.
series.
What's that called? The Parent Trap.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Yep.
She did the
You know.
Inkwell.
Yep.
A couple episodes of Moesha.
Yep. So I'm saying all this to say there is a market for
Mm-hmm.
what you do. And it's already established. You don't have to recreate the wheel. All you got to do is just keep getting up every day and let what's in your heart pour out.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes,
You know,
Doc.
huh?
I got you, Doc.
ah, yeah. No, I'm just trying to encourage because even, um, you know, with what you're doing, you do it in your way.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it unique.
And
You
timing.
know, yeah. So what else you got coming up, man? Because we got about 10 to 15 minutes left, and I don't want to leave out anything. I know we've been back down memory lane. I didn't express my knowledge of the film industry quite gracefully, but but it's about you because you're the one that's out there winning awards, doing this, and making people know who you are. So what do we lift? What do we leave out? What do we forget about?
Uh, Pretty much nothing.
Okay.
Everything is just in motion and progressing. Like we about to film. Finally getting on our film, My Sister's Cup. And as soon as we finish that, as soon as I finish on that, probably I'll give myself a good 3 weeks rest. Then I got a Christmas movie to shoot in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I'm
Well, I
looking
remember.
to,
Yeah, I remember you telling me about
yeah,
that right before COVID.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
One of the times you came on the show, you talked
hmm
about you were going to be doing a Christmas show. I was trying to get the job of Santa Claus, but you wouldn't give it to me. You
now
know.
I'm gonna make an exception. I'm gonna shoot another movie in Chicago. Because to be
Okay.
honest, I have no interest in shooting all my films in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's why Kenosha is like my first doing something in another state.
Yeah. It's interesting. You should say Kenosha. Um, it's really funny. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I ran across, a guy was saying, he told me, he said, it's this guy from Chicago that's got a barbecue house down the road. I said, oh, okay, from Chicago, let's go check him out. So I get over there, and the owner of the barbecue house was in there, and I said, well, what part of Chicago you from? Yeah, hey man, I'm from Racine. Don't tell nobody. I said, stop telling people you from Chicago, man, because you are not
Ain't that
from Chicago. Okay, you from Wisconsin. That ain't even a good suburb of Chicago.
that's terrible.
Yeah. Well, that's what's up. So now, how long is it going to take you to finish this? The movie that you're working on now, that the trailer's out. We had the trailer. Now, let me put the disclaimer up there. We had the trailer to show you all, but due to technical difficulties, we're not able to show the trailer. So we're just going to talk about it. So, how long is it going to take you to finish this particular movie?
Well, if scheduling go right, according to the film schedule, we should be uh, 6 to 8 weeks because we plan to do at least two shots per weekend. On Saturday, two scenes, Sunday, two scenes for the next 6 weeks to 8 weeks. But
Okay.
I'm always open. I have to be considerate that things happen, like um, people's schedule, my family, um, unfortunate deaths. People get sick, so I always keep myself available for if
Mm-hmm.
anything happens. I try not to stress my cast because if they stress on set, it's gonna be a terrible film.
Yeah. Now, no. Recently, I just saw something on social media. I think you just had a table read somewhere.
I had a table read of My Sister's Cup yesterday. I mean on Sunday, and
Okay.
we had a few people there, and they heard the story for the first time, and just by doing the table read, I mean there were some emotional tears from the people there.
Mm-hmm.
So we can kind of feel
Mm-hmm.
how the film gonna be. And it
Yeah.
was almost to a point where two people got up and said they almost thought they was watching a movie while we was yet seeing it, while we was doing the table read.
Wow. And for those that don't know what a table read is, it's just simply just what it sounds like. It was a table with everybody reading their part, in turn according to what the way it's written in the script.
Hmm.
So I know sometimes people don't know what goes on behind the scenes, when these types of projects are coming together. Speaking of which, how are you going to shoot this? Are you going to be shooting it in 35? Are you doing it in 1080? How are you going to shoot this?
Well, it's probably gonna be like a 1080, but it all depends who I be honest how I who I get to shoot it because what I'm really trying to do is allow this film production crew to be all women. I
Oh,
understand the value of what's happening with women, especially women, black women in the film. Uh, if this film does well with all the credits of women, it gives the film a lot of boost. That there are film festivals that Oscar, BAFTA qualifying,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of this plays a part with women on the production. So I mean, it's been my heart and my prayer to try to get uh, a female crew to do all this.
Okay.
I'm trying to avoid it, be honest.
So do you have family that do the behind the camera and behind the scenes stuff like set designing and lighting and audio and all of those things? Do you have family that do that, or is you gonna have to go outside the family to do it?
My families have not been part of any of my film productions.
Okay. All right.
And,
Well.
the only person been supportive is my wife,
Okay.
but she doesn't direct or anything. She's just there to support and stand in as a character when we read and those type of things.
So what time era or eras is this film shot in?
Well, it's a pre-story, the first two scenes of early years, and then it cut to 25 years later, which is current.
So what would you call early years, like 50s, 60s, 70s?
Now, I'm just doing my math. Whatever 25 years is subtracted from that, so I assume that's somewhere like the 90s.
Okay. So the 90s and then current day.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's I was just trying to get a
Hmm.
time gap on, when it begins and where it evolves to, you know. So fortunately, and I have to say it like this, I got an opportunity to interview you and some of your cast members on Street News Now, which is another network that I do broadcasting on. We had a special entertainment segment, and it was an honor and a privilege to get a chance to talk to some of your cast members. And it was a special kind of blessing to be able to see in the various stages of this coming together. So I thank you, man, for sharing with the people on what you're doing and how you're doing it. Um, Now, if they want to get in contact with you, there's your contact information right
Mm.
there on the screen. They can reach out to you on Facebook and reach out to you. What if somebody wants to participate? Like, if they want to, I know it's not like football where you can get a water carrier, but somebody that might want to carry the water to all the people, or makeup artists or anything like that. If they want to participate, what do they got to do? They got to meet with you and do what?
Be honest, just show up because all what you describe, I still do on the set anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I still pass out water. I still, my objective is to get it done. And I've learned in filming, especially when it comes to me, I don't need a big crew because that causes a lot of confusion. Everybody who's supposed to be doing one thing, then they want to direct, and it becomes a lot of confusion.
Okay.
Because now we're living in a time where actors believe they've arrived. Now actors want to direct on people film sets instead of just act.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Well, you had a lovely cast. I know all your cast like to preach. So that's what I found out on when we did that interview on that day. Everybody's a preacher. I was like waiting on them to take an offering. I was like they're gonna take an offering before this interview is over with.
so,
But a lot of good people. A lot of great people, and I applaud you once again. So we got about 2 or 3 minutes left before the show is over with today. I always ask two questions. And I know you've been struggling through, your allergies. So just so y'all know, what's going on. We talked about it in the green room before the show. So y'all, send him some of that medicine that he need, to feel better. Two questions. Two questions. First question: will you come back and see me again?
of course,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And the second question is: what would you like to leave with the people before you leave on today?
the best thing that people can do is follow your heart. If your heart is right, it's not going to lead you wrong. And in that, you will find your peace, you will find your joy. And last but not least, the most important thing you will find in your heart is your purpose. And once you get attached to your purpose, there's really nothing else that matters. I'm trying to
Absolutely.
tell you. Ooh, you get attached to that purpose, man. Listen, folk can cuss you out, you wouldn't even hear it,
Yeah.
and
And you
that's what I
sleep good
leave.
at night.
Mm.
And you sleep good at night.
And I
Yeah.
can play my Nintendo right in front of their face. Why they listen?
Woo.
You
You
don't hear
right.
nothing. But I appreciate
Yeah.
it, man.
My pleasure, bro. It's my pleasure. You and I can't even remember how we met, but when we clicked, and you've been coming on my show for years now, and it's always a joy and a pleasure to have you. We have fun, and we take care of business at the same time because we gave them a history today. We gave them a movie history lesson, and they're gonna be going to look that up. The White Girl.
If, if, if I'm not mistaken, I do apologize, but if not mistaken, that may have been brought up in a documentary on Netflix called
Okay.
it was called some about They Need Us. And it talked about all how the black film has started. They talked about the black exploitation. They talked about how the Wiz really kind of messed us up, and
Okay.
how a soldier story start recovering black film back into the market. So
Right.
I put that on my page last year, and I encourage everybody in film to watch that. It talks
Yeah.
about the other great entertainer who just passed away. Um, God, he just passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Harry Belafonte.
Oh my God, great
Yes,
talent.
great singer,
Mm-hmm.
talented. Actor. You know,
Activist.
yeah, from the Bahamas. He was actually
Mm-hmm.
from the Bahamas. Yep.
But I'm done. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Um, we will have you back again the closer you get to finishing this film or after you finish the film. We will get you back. You can come back and tell the people where they can come see it at. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So
Yes,
peace and
Doc.
love, man. Thank you. You stay right there. Don't go nowhere. We're gonna end the show. All right. I want to invite you guys out to come see me on tomorrow at 12 noon. Street News Now. I do the noon report. So please come check me out on tomorrow, 12 noon. Also, don't forget to check me out each and every Saturday at 12 noon from the desk of Dr. Ron, where I get a chance to tell you what's on my heart. Okay? What's in my heart and try and keep y'all thinking straight and knowing that there's more than what the fake news says. I give y'all the real news, okay? I want to thank each and every person for making a contribution. This is where you can make contributions at. I want to thank you guys for doing so. Keep up the great work. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. Please spread the word. Tell somebody about what you've seen and heard today. I need your support as well as my guests need you to send this around. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. See you guys on tomorrow at 12 noon. Stay blessed. Stay safe. See you guys tomorrow.